The Eternal Mountain, the story of Kailasa Temple, Ellora. The wonder carved from silence. In the heart of Maharashtra, India, where basalt cliffs rise like the spine of the earth, there exists a temple that should not exist, at least not by the logic of ordinary human effort. The Kailasa Temple at Ellora is not built. It is revealed, chiseled out of a living mountain, top to bottom, across more than a millennium of stone and devotion. It is cave 16 among 34 rock-cut temples and monasteries stretching over 2 kilometers along the sloping cliff at Ellora. But to call it a cave is like calling the Himalayas a hill. The Kailasa Temple is the largest monolithic rock-cut structure in the world, 195 feet long, 145 feet wide, soaring 100 feet into the sky, and every inch of it was carved from a single basalt cliff using only iron chisels and hammers. A king, a vision, a mountain. The story begins in the 8th century CE, when the mighty Rashtrakuta dynasty ruled the Deccan. Around 756 CE, King Krishna I, warrior, patron, and visionary, looked at a vast volcanic cliff and saw not rock, but a mountain waiting to be set free. He commissioned the construction of a temple so extraordinary that the gods themselves, according to legend, were astonished when they saw it. Two ancient copper plate inscriptions, the Vadodara inscription of 812 CE and the Kadamba Granth, credit Krishna Raja as the patron of Kailasanatha. One of them records that the king built a temple so wondrous that even the divine architect was struck with disbelief. But Krishna I may not have worked alone across time. Art historian Hermann Goh theorized that the temple's roots reach back even further, to Danti Durga, Krishna's predecessor and nephew r. 735-756 CA, whose style appears in some of the earliest reliefs. Later Rashtrakuta kings, Dhruva Dharavarsha, Govinda III, Amogavarsha, and Krishna III, may have each added their own chapters to the stone epic. Even Ahilyabai Holkar, the 18th century Maratha queen, commissioned the final layer of paintings that once graced its walls. Kailasa is not just one king's dream. It is a dynasty's devotion, layered across centuries. The mystery of how it was built. Here is where the story becomes almost magical. Unlike any other temple on earth, the Kailasa was not assembled stone by stone, it was excavated. Artisans began at the summit of the cliff and worked downward, removing rock to reveal the temple hidden within, like a sculptor liberating a figure from marble. Approximately 200,000 to 400,000 tons of rock were removed, with no machinery, no cranes, no scaffolding. Just men with chisels, operating on a vision so precise that there was no room for error. One wrong cut and the entire shrine could collapse. Dhavalikar believes Kokasa was real, perhaps the chief architect of the Kailasa temple. Inscriptions from across central India, dated to the 11th-13th centuries, speak of an illustrious family of architects descended from one Kokasa. The architecture, a universe in stone. To walk through the Kailasa temple is to walk through a cosmology. At the entrance stands a low gopuram, a gateway that marks the crossing from the ordinary world into the sacred. The left side of the entrance is the domain of Shiva, the right, of Vishnu. From the very threshold, the temple declares its dual devotion to the cosmos. Beyond the gate opens a vast U-shaped courtyard, 82 meters long and 46 meters wide, edged by three-story columned arcades punctuated by towering sculpted panels. Enormous deities gaze from alcoves. There were once flying bridges of stone connecting the galleries to the main temple. Most have now fallen, but their traces remain, like the memory of a dream. At the heart of the courtyard stands the central shrine, dedicated to Shiva. A flat-roofed mandapa rests on 16 pillars. A Dravidian shikhara rises above. At the heart of hearts, a sacred Shiva Linga, still worshipped today, as it has been for over 1,000 years. Facing it is the Nandi Mandapa, the pavilion of Nandi, the sacred bull, Shiva's faithful mount. Nandi gazes perpetually at his lord. A rock bridge connects the two structures, as if even the mountain itself bows its head in reverence. The lower stories of the temple are supported, visually, cosmologically, by a frieze of elephants. These stone pachyderms appear to carry the entire temple on their backs, as though the mountain itself rests on the shoulders of the earth's strongest creatures. The walls are alive. Scenes from the Mahabharata and Ramayana unfold in breathtaking relief. Shiva dances the Tandava. Shiva meditates as the ascetic. Parvati warns her lord about the demon Ravana. River goddesses, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, preside from their own shrines. Erotic Mithuna figures whisper of creation and life. Ravana and the mountain. Of all the sculptures, one is supreme. On the southern wall of the main shrine, carved in 3 dimensions of astonishing power, is the Ravananugraha relief, Ravana lifting Mount Kailash. The 10-headed demon king, conqueror of 3 worlds, flexes his 20 arms beneath the mountain where Shiva sits in divine repose. Parvati clutches her lord in fear. Shiva, unbothered, presses down with his toe. The mountain does not move. Ravana's power, enormous, legendary, terrifying, is nothing before the absolute stillness of Shiva. This sculpture may have given the temple its name. Some scholars believe the temple was already known as Manikshwar when this relief was added, and that the overwhelming presence of Mount Kailash in stone transformed its identity. It became Kailasa, the mountain incarnate. Dhavalikar believes this relief was added some 30 to 40 years after the main shrine was completed, its style mirroring the Tandava sculpture of the nearby Lankeshwar cave. Go dated it to the reign of Krishna III. Whoever commissioned it, the sculptor was a genius. Conquerors and admirers. No great wonder escapes the attention of rulers, friend or foe. The armies of the Delhi Sultanate came to Ellora, but instead of destroying the Kailasa temple, they made it a sightseeing destination. The Bijapur historian Rafi al-Din Shirazi wrote that the Kailashanatha temples were an ancient wonder and a rarity, comparable to Persepolis and the great monuments of Persia. He expressed grief that similar temples had been destroyed elsewhere. Then came Aurangzeb, the Mughal emperor famous for dismantling temples across India. He sent 1,000 laborers to destroy the Kailasa temple. They worked for 3 years. They managed to deface some sculptures. The temple itself stood unmoved. Aurangzeb wrote in his own memoirs, "The Kailashanatha temple is a marvelous place for strolling, one of the wonders of the work of the transcendent artisan, charming to the eye, and unless one sees it, no written description can correctly picture it. Even the emperor who wished to destroy it could not help but marvel. The temple is cosmos. The Kailasa temple is not just architecture, it is philosophy made stone. As you move inward through its gates, mandapas, and corridors, the space narrows. The light dims. The ceiling lowers. This is deliberate. You are moving from the loud, chaotic outer world toward the still, silent center, from the material to the spiritual, from ego to Brahman. The tall Shikhara above represents the axis of the universe, Mount Kailash itself, the mythic abode of Shiva and Parvati. The elephants below carry the weight of the world. The river goddesses bless the devotee with the waters of life. Every inch is meaning. Scholars see in its design the echoes of Shankara's Advaita philosophy, the non-dual unity of the individual soul Atman and the universal consciousness Brahman. The seamless rock from which everything emerges mirrors the seamlessness of existence. Not many things, but one thing, known from infinite angles. The temple even has acoustic chambers where chanting fills the space with resonance, and skylights that direct morning sunlight precisely into the inner sanctum, ancient optical and acoustic engineering buried in stone. The living temple. The Kailasa temple is not a ruin. It is alive. Every day, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., visitors walk its courts. On Mahashivratri, thousands of pilgrims flood in to worship at the ancient Shivalinga. The temple breathes with prayer, as it has for 1,200 years. Art historians have compared its importance to the Parthenon, and noted that the Kailasa temple's area is more than twice that of the Parthenon in Greece. In 1983, UNESCO recognized the Ellora caves, including Kailasa, as a World Heritage Site. But no designation captures what it truly is. To stand in the courtyard of the Kailasa temple is to stand inside a mountain that chose to become a temple, shaped by hands that believed stone could hold eternity. It still does.